So welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Boosters podcast. And today we have this wonderful couple, Pastor Dante King and Dr. Kym Lee-King. And we're going to nurture our nosy with getting into a little bit about their lives and how they impact the community and just Black love. Right? Great. So we're going to start off with just getting y'all to tell us a little bit more and tell the audience a little bit more about yourselves, what you do, and then we'll dive in.
The first book.
I'm Dr. Kym Lee-King. Well, I'm Kym Lee-King, and I'm married to this wonderful man, Dante King. We have been married for 6 years, and we are pastors, and we're both entrepreneurs, and we both have children, and we have a blended family. And we do a lot of work in the community, I think, as you said, not only with our church, but just philanthropically. We do a lot to raise money for other families in the community. And we are really just, look, we work for Jesus. Like, we just building kingdom, building family, really teaching and showing people how to love one another in this crazy society that we have with our stories. And so, yeah, we're happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Important word. Thank you. You left out the whole other part.
Which is what?
The makeup.
Oh. I thought we talk about marriage. Well, yeah, I'm a celebrity makeup artist. Yeah, right? But I'm a celebrity makeup artist by trade. We both own several businesses. I also own a beauty brand called Wink and Pout. And I'm a public speaker, so I speak out a lot and a best-selling author. So we have our hands in quite a few pots. But that's what I'm doing.
Awesome.
Dante King. I'm married to this great woman right here. Pastor Forward Church, 22 years pastoring. Also have businesses here, West Africa. We teach entrepreneurship. We teach people how to grow businesses. Also, we do 8A government contracting work as well. So I'm pretty busy building people in the kingdom and having our families together. So it keeps us pretty busy.
I would say, definitely. Sounds like y'all are definitely busy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So let's dive right in. How do you keep the spice in the relationship? Let's just go there. With all of the busyness.
How did y'all meet? No. How do we keep the spice?
Give us the juicy.
I think the misconception is because we are pastors and we're Christians that's not a part of our relationship. That somehow that's missing because we always hold it 24/7. My wife's the most spiritual of the two of us. Seriously, she's really more spiritual. We both love the Lord, of course, but just because I'm a pastor doesn't mean they wouldn't have a spicy relationship. More so than some people that are not even in church.
He's very spicy.
Very much. I mean, it's a PG show, so I'm gonna keep it PG. Yeah, it's real.
That's another show. Right?
Yeah, we have a real spicy relationship.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
So is that something intentional? Like, do you...
It's just us, our chemistry. Our chemistry is so dope. It's just so dope between us.
It's an important conversation because I think in the church, that's something that just they don't talk about or they don't like to bring up, or it's very kind of a touchy topic. So just to know that, we have passion in our relationship and spice, and we don't mind letting other people know, like, it's perfectly...
It was hard being celibate with him. Let me just say that. I mean, it was hard. I mean, since we jumping right in, I mean, a lot of people that might be watching who might be believers, it's this whole misconception that, you're supposed to marry somebody who loves the Lord and it's going to be all right. But the reality is, I'm a woman, he's a man, he a fine man. You know what I mean? So it was really hard. I always tell people this story. When we were dating, we dated with our kids, right? So, because this is his second marriage, my first. We both had kids. I was still a virgin, though, but I had a child. I was still a virgin. Right. I just want y'all to catch that, right? So, we were celibate and we were trying, but we were very, very attracted to one another, and it was hard to keep my hands off of him and vice versa. And I remember when we were dating with our kids, we both grown, we both got houses, we both got, it ain't like we sneaking around, we in the house. So I would fall asleep at his house. and I would cocoon myself up in the blanket. I would start at the bottom of the bed and just keep rolling until I got to the top of the bed and just lay next to him. And that was the only. I'm serious, y'all. It was hard. It was really, really hard to maintain that because we are very attracted to one another. And I think as pastors, we always teach people. Other than the fact, of course, the main thing is that you're compatible with your belief, but also you got to be compatible in what you like. I mean, he knows what he likes. Yeah. He knows physically what he likes, and I'm that physical and vice versa. I mean, he's just everything I love, and so with that being said, of course, with all the other components, but the physical part makes a difference. Yeah, it makes a difference.
Right.
So. We jumped straight to the bedroom. Let's go back to when y'all met. Like, how did you meet, and what was that like?
Actually, been in church. Her godfather, I used to preach for her godfather often, Pastor Dant'e, and I had gone through, a divorce, and church people had their opinions about divorce. We're not gonna get into that today, but how they feel about divorce and remarriage. I was kind of in that space, what I mean, that space, not knowing what to do, and a lot of people, you find out who your real friends are, because some people. They divorced themselves from you as well.
So there was judgment behind that.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Remember, I've preached all around the country, all around the world for some of the most prominent pastors. I've been on conferences, blah blah blah. But after that, some people tend to distance themselves from you. But Pastor Dant'e always, kept his hand on me and kept loving me and showing me love. And when we were in church, and I knew of her because I did a photo shoot years ago, and she was the makeup artist for Jackie Hicks. And so I knew of her, and I've seen, of course, her reputation precedes her. And I said, that's my God. She's your goddaughter, Kym Lee. So kind of introduced us a little bit. We went out, and our first time out was horrible.
My God.
It was the worst ever.
A bad first date.
A bad first date.
Wow, okay,
yeah. Look. It was a bad second date. It was a bad first date.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was just bad because we were both so busy, but he was really busy that day. It's and it was really irritating to me because I was like, what's keeping you on that phone?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you going out with me, like, what's keeping you on that phone? And because it took a lot for me to get out to go on a date anyway because I had children. You know what I'm saying? I'm traveling around the world, so if we carve out this evening to chill, or to go to dinner, which is what we did, and you on the phone, like did
you call him out on that on the date?
Oh yeah, I was like,
called me out. Yeah.
What'd you say? I want to hear the words.
I think I said something because I have a really snippy mouth.
Very
so
snippy.
So I think I said something to the effect like what's going on? Like, you good? Like whatever was cool back then, 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Whatever vernacular we were using, but basically you are on the phone and we're out at dinner, and mind y'all, he took me somewhere really nice. Like, he took me to a restaurant on the water. It's expensive seafood, and I'm like, so this is a time, we supposed to be getting, acquainted. And there was no talking, it was no affection, and it was no chemistry, and it was nothing like it was on the telephone. So I was like, this is not me. I was like, I'm definitely, because first of all, I ain't checking for a pastor anyway. So I was like,
what was your type before the pastor?
Yeah, my type, I always dated, industry guys, because I work in the entertainment industry, and I was really married to my job. So all of my exes worked in entertainment. So, I always dated, somebody that was on the camera, somebody that, something like that. But I never thought about a pastor because that meant that I would have to really kind of settle down, and be this other role, versus just not just being his wife, but being a first lady. You know what I'm saying? And now my ministry, because I was a minister before I met him, now that means it comes to the forefront because now all eyes on me. So it's like, oh, you're a minister, let me see, so I just felt like, I just never really was checking for a pastor, but he was a nice looking man. So he was single, and I was like, he cute and he's single, and he got a lot going for himself, but do I really want to be a pastor's wife? I never thought about being his wife. I really just thought I was just going on a date.
Gotcha.
Right.
So
my game was so good.
His rap game was strong.
So what happened when she checked you on the date? When she was like, "What's going on?"
I was on some other stuff back then, because I was divorced. I had been divorced for 3 years when we first went out, so I was kind of still feeling my way through. I had a few contestants.
Not contestants. On the Price is Right.
Had a few contestants, but I was feeling about now. Seriously though, but what she said is so key, because as a pastor, even though I went out on dates, I was single, but I always asked myself who could sit in this seat. It's not a seat everyone can sit in. Being a pastor's wife, I never changed, and never wanted her to change, but the scrutiny that comes with the unrealistic expectations. Who can sit in this seat?
So you knew going into it that was something that you had to consider.
Absolutely. Everyone I date, I'm like, no, they can't sit in that seat. So when I met her, knowing her pedigree, where she came from, the church she grew up in, who her godfather was.
I never heard you say that. That's
pedigree,
nice.
The church she was raised in, who she was, her godfather, all the other churches she served. So she's very close with a lot of prominent first ladies. So she understands how that works. So when we got serious about our relationship, it was easy for her to transition into that role. So that was something I had to consider. So everybody else was just, I was preoccupied that day, but I got it together though. I got myself together.
So you were open to her checking you.
Oh yeah, I mean, not really that day. I wasn't, but she was right. She was right. She was right. Not that day.
Now, he said that it was easy for you to transition. Did you feel that way, or did he just experience it that way? Like, it was easy to transition.
The transition into being single to being married.
No,
to
being the first lady.
Being a first lady. Oh, it was very hard for me. Being a first lady was very difficult for me because, so I work with women every day, as you know, as an artist, but also, my ministry is dealing with empowering women. So the empowerment part comes easy because it's touch and go. So you empower, you go, right? You empower, you leave. But with this, that meant I had to stay and see what I empowered and then watch it grow and plant seeds that were going to grow. Right? And so that's kind of hard. So I have an evangelical, which means I go from place to place and do it, but you ain't married to it. It's different versus somebody being in the trenches with you every single day. And so I just didn't really quite understand that whole thing, and being as close to as I was to my previous first lady, Pamela Sturdivant, like I just really didn't understand, and I didn't really realize how hard she worked until I had to work it, right? And it's a lot, and he'll tell you, like, I'm taking calls all day. I mean, you guys are with me this morning. Yes. I was getting calls this morning at 6:00 in the morning. So, it's constant, and it's also just that whole motherly thing, like really nurturing people and spiritually speaking into them, and I felt like inadequate to do that. Because I just didn't, thank you. I'm great, cry. I felt inadequate. Like, I just felt like I don't really have that bandwidth. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be to them what I needed, growing up in ministry. And sometimes I just feel like, I'm so busy with work, can I be that? So that was hard for me. That was really hard for me. And then
the single transition was hard too.
The single transition was very hard for me.
We were married, so like she used to going out. You single, you go out. Spend time with your friends, and that's it. So she would go out with her friends. I'm not that kind of husband like, don't go out, please. You got friends, hang out, have fun. But it'd be like 2:00. You good? Like, yeah, I'm good. Why?
2 a.m.
2 a.m. You good? Like, yeah, why? Like, I forgot. Not that she need to check in, but when you're married, it's kind of, you good, baby. It's 2:00 in the morning. You about to walk in this joint 3:00.
Right.
Where you been? And but she had to. It's because she was single all her life. And being married is different. When you single, you go out, you come as you want to go. But the single transition was a little.
Yeah, I wasn't good with accountability. With you.
Yeah, not at all. No, not in a bad way. I mean, I knew what she was. She knew where I was, but. You're not checking for anybody when you're single. You go and come as you please.
I agree. Being someone that married later on, like in my 40s, definitely you have all of that time where you're single and you know how to do things. I know how to get my car done, and the independent woman whole thing. And then when you get married, it's like you have to teach your partner how to to act sometimes.
Yeah. And he had to teach me that. He had to teach me we eat together. This is what we do this together. I take your car. We, to your point. And that was hard for me to relinquish that because now trust comes into play, right? You're like, can I trust him to do it? And then for me being a perfectionist, I'm like, and is he going to do it the way I want it to be done?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And then God was like, no, let him do it. And I'm still learning that part. Like, let him just do it. And no matter how it turns out, like I could send him to the store, he gonna forget something.
I'm gonna forget something.
He gonna forget.
Don't you hate that?
Oh
though?
God,
my husband is so.
I'm forget something.
And that's I'm like you left out the vanilla. Like you can't make
But
this without the vanilla extract. Like,
no, it's not. It's not like I need the thyme and the rosemary. You know what rosemary is?
He's like, she don't need no rosemary. Like she don't need that. I'm like, no, I need that.
I don't even know what rosemary is.
Right. But then listen, but check this part. But if it's something that he wants, he got all of it. So my thing is, so you know details, you just don't care about mine. So then that comes into play. But I'm learning, you know, our parents have moved in with us, and my mom is really teaching me how to be patient with him, right? And just let him bring it wrong. The fact he wants to bring it is good enough. And I'm like, what? You know, but I'm serious. I'm watching my mother, you know, how, because even though those are my parents, it's different when you live with them as adults versus kids, right? And so watching my mom, how she takes care of my dad who's in hospice, you know, and how she just is like kind of teaching me some things. And I was like, why ain't you teaching me nothing? He need to bring the rosemary. And she's like, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, I need to be a little bit more docile or something because I'm a little too rough.
So she's teaching like grace.
She's teaching me grace. She's teaching me patience.
Yeah.
You know, she really affirms him, you know, and it makes me feel bad because she's like, oh, you did a great job, Dante. I'm like,
Everything I do is perfect.
oh my God.
I do no wrong in me saying anything I want. I do no wrong.
But it's teaching me as a wife, you know, that you get more with sugar, right?
Yeah.
Or honey. Is it that the saying? You get more with honey. So I'm learning. Yeah.
So you've seen the difference.
We're best friends anyway, so we just see the things I'm learning as well. I'm learning how to enjoy moments because I'm like this. I'm on to the next. I throw things and let's go. She teaches me how to relax, enjoy the moment, sit in it for a while, enjoy the accomplishment. I'm always what's next. Let's go.
I heard that
like
even
that
from
when
the
we
first
got
date.
Yeah. But she teaches me how to calm down, how to relax. I was real uptight. When she first met her, she would call me. She said I was over cologne and wore hard shoes
For nothing.
for no reason. She's like, why do you have hard shoes and cologne on?
All day.
We go to the Wizards game. Why you got hard shoes?
For no reason.
For no reason at all. So she told me how to kind of calm down and relax and just enjoy life, enjoy those moments. So it's kind of a our side.
He was like that today. Shh, don't tell him.
I'm over cologne with hard
No,
shoes.
you
on.
just, when we got here, you were already on your 2:00 meeting.
Yes.
You were already, you're already there. You're already in contract mode. Like
Yes.
you're already in, and I'm like, we're going to do an interview. Like this is so good with the,
Yes.
with my girls.
Maybe
like
a main
what?
thing, we compartmentalize things.
Yes,
We
you do.
So that's what we do. She's teaching me how
That's
to.
an important point to talk about, though,
Yeah.
because if you're compartmentalizing and she's trying to like dip into that compartment, like how does that usually work out? Like it sounds like it worked out well. Coming in the door, you were able to shift and transition. Like
We
you
laugh
heard
about
her.
it now. We laugh.
really?
Oh yeah, we can laugh about it.
We can laugh about it now, but I was mad at him over there just 5 minutes ago.
Oh, were you?
Oh yeah, I was like, get it together.
We couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, that's the point.
No, like my wife.
Whole silent communication
You gotta
going
talk
on.
to her
Yeah,
first.
I love my wife. She's like rainbows and unicorns. Everything's gonna be good. The unicorn's gonna come in and everybody's gonna be happy. And I'm like, no, this. So we learn how to bring that in the middle. I need to be more. A little bit more rainbows. She's a little bit of this. So it's wonderful now.
Do you find like after you've been married for a while, it's like she'll give you that look and she doesn't have to say anything, but like she means business.
Yeah,
You think
She
so?
has that look.
you do.
I feel like you got that look more than me because
I
he
have
always
more
says
than
my
you.
looks are not real.
She has the look, but it don't mean nothing. She has a lot of bark. She has a lot of bark with nobody. Like our grandson, she's like, Dante, do this. He look at her like, yeah, whatever. When I come around, like, I see her put that down. He just straightens up. So yeah, she has a lot of bark with no bite. Yeah, so her looks are not real.
But you know
Is
what
that
the
nice?
looks mean though, right?
Was that
Yeah, I know.
nice?
I give her the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
You can't tell if that's a compliment or not.
I was like, was that a backhand compliment?
Yeah, for real. So yeah,
I'm kidding.
Well, how long have y'all been together and how long have you been married?
8 years together, 6 years married. We dated for 6 months. Then we broke up. Remember?
We broke up.
After the bad dates and all, we were dating seriously, and we broke up.
We
Then,
dated 3 years, actually 3 years.
3 years, and her godfather, when they introduced us, if you're serious, talk to my godfather about me. And so one of our pastor's husbands died. We had to ride down to North Carolina. I drove, so 5 hours there. We talked about her with him. He and I in the car together, and it came back. He knew I was serious, and I went and got the ring. And yeah. So,
While you were broken up?
no, we got back together. A little bit after we got back together, I got the
But
ring.
you were ambitious though.
I was ambitious like this. I'm gonna lock this down. Let me lock this in.
How did you know he was ambitious? What did you see? What did he do?
Because he was really like in pursuit of me. Because at the time I was living in New York, so he was just like, you coming home this weekend? Like, you know, am I coming up? Like, I need to come see you. Like, he was definitely more direct and intentional about our, you know, getting together and really making plans. And, you know, he wanted to incorporate the kids. And I was like, okay, he's shifting a little bit. And I welcomed it because, you know, I had been dating somebody in New York and he was a clown. Well, not really. It was just playing. And so, you know who I was dating in New York. Don't do that. And so he, you know, he made me lose my chain of thought.
The guy was a clown and I was better than him.
Yes, that part. So
That's important.
yeah,
Right,
so I was fresh off the heels of that, but it wasn't that serious. So it was easy for me to transition into something real because I really was ready to be in a more serious relationship. I just, you know, wasn't really sure about being a pastor's wife. Yeah. But you came strong and correct.
Came strong.
Yeah, you
Had a lot of cologne on that day, didn't you?
A lot of cologne.
So let me ask y'all, what contributed to you breaking up initially?
Me, just still not settled with who I was. And I went out on a date and one of her best friends saw me at the Howard Theater one night.
Anthony Hamilton.
Oh, she knows which date.
Every time I hear Anthony Hamilton, I'm mad. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
So that's how you ended up breaking up?
Yeah, I just wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't in that space. She was right. I wasn't. I had to settle down. Like, you know what? That's not worth it. This is who God has for me. I knew she was from what God had for me, and so I had to give. It was me. I had to give myself to that place. Yeah.
So what was the defining moment when you knew that she was going to be the one?
Me?
Yeah, that internal manly moment.
I prayed about it, and I asked God to show me. And my children, my daughters went to her went with her to LA by themselves. And I knew, I said, yeah, that's it. My daughters loved her. So, and I'm a dad girl. Like, my daughters are everything to me.
You're a girl dad.
I'm a girl dad.
Yeah.
You know, they love her. So, like, even now, my oldest daughter, she'll talk to her about things she won't talk to me about. So, when my daughters fell in love with her, like, yeah, I know this is the one. Yeah, so, absolutely.
Okay. How long did the breakup last?
It was a little less than a year.
Yeah, less than a year.
Yeah, it was a little less than a year because I was working on a movie set and I was going to stay in New York and I ended up coming back because it was so serious.
Yeah, it was serious.
Yeah, I was going to transition up to New York and permanently, and I ended up coming back. Yeah,
So it was a major adjustment.
it was
Yes.
major. Yeah, it was major.
adjustment. Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I know that we had talked a little bit before that you're ambassador for Fibroids of America, and I know that fibroids impact like intimacy and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you mind sharing a little bit about, like, I guess the journey of trying to connect your relationship or build intimacy while you are also dealing with the struggles of like fibroids and the real life issues related to that.
And that's real because when you say for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, I don't think anybody banks on the sick, the poor, the worst, right? I don't think we bank on that. I think we realize there may be some tough things, but to the extent of what many of us have gone through, I don't think anybody signs up for that. But what I know is having fibroids, there's no way I could have gone through or gotten through that season of my life without my husband. My husband helped me to make some really hard decisions because, as I said throughout this whole interview, being married to my job or my career, I really neglected me. You know, I really neglected me to the point where my health was failing. And for those that are watching this, 83% of African American women will end up with a fibroid, and fibroids affect us so negatively. I mean, they help to, you know, decrease your sexual ability, you know, your cognitive thinking, you know, you're tired all the time, and you're not 100%. And so, not being 100%, how is that fair to your mate? How is that fair to your children? How is that fair to your coworkers? You know, that or yourself? And so, I was battling with uterine fibroids for many years. I had 14 large fibroid tumors when I decided to get rid of them. And how it happened was that particular day, I was on Fox 5 TV, and my assistants, they work with me. They synchronize with me. Like when I drink, they swallow. And this particular day, they knew when I was bleeding heavy, they would slide me a pad. Or they knew when I didn't feel well, they would give me, you know, a Motrin 600. Like they knew. And I was popping Motrin, you all. I was addicted to pain pills. I was popping like over 2,400 milligrams of pain pills a day just to make the wrong right. And so this one particular day on Fox, literally, I'm giving all I have, and blood is running down my leg, and I have on a long dress this particular day, and my assistant could see the anguish in my face. And so she wrapped me up, offset, walked me to the car, got me to the garage, dropped me off, and I'm talking to my husband, and I'm like, I'm on my way up, and he realized that it had taken a little longer than normal to get up to our condo, and when he found me, I was laying in a pool of oil face down. I had passed out.
Full of blood.
Full of blood. And he was like, enough is enough. Now, mind you, all of that time that I was dealing with the fibroids, prior to us dating, by the time we got married, I was bleeding 20 days out of a month. A month, only 30 days, and so it was really very taxing on our relationship, to show up and be great, to show up and be a wife, or to show up and just show up, you know what I mean? And he was really suffering as a result of that. We weren't having sex. You talking about coming off of a honeymoon and not having sex on your honeymoon, not being intimate. We would do this, and he would lay on me, and he would just hold me and caress me. And what was I doing for him? He was constantly comforting me. And so when he found me in that pool of blood and oil in our garage, it was like, whoa. It was like the light checked. It's like the light clicked, and he was like, this is it. I've had enough. You're getting the surgery, and you're gonna get well. And it impacted our relationship tremendously, because for even with doctors telling him, I'm going to cry. Even with doctors telling him that it's not you, Dante, it's her. I felt like I was cheating on him with this, like I wasn't being fair to him. And he would say, is it me? Are you not attracted to me? And I'm like, I just don't have the stamina. I don't have the libido. I don't, and I got tired of saying what I don't have. And when he told me I needed to go get the surgery, he went with me. He had the surgery. And even then, the after effects of the surgery we chose, we're still battling with that. We're still getting through that with the hormonal changes and things like that. And so women, I really encourage them to take care of their health, because that's one less thing you got to deal with your husband. You're already going to deal with life. You're already going to deal with finance. You're already going to deal with sickness, whatever. But if it's something you can avoid, take charge of it. Take hold of it. And I just thank God for my husband, because he really stood by me when we had several friends of ours who left their weight because of fibroids. A photographer, a very well-known photographer that I'm really cool with, he left his wife, and I was walking him through as I was going through. I was like, don't leave her. She's going through because of this. I'm telling you what she's going through. And he still left his wife. It was too much for him. It was too much water under the bridge at that point. Too many days of no sex, too many times of fussing and yelling, and a lot. And so he just couldn't get through it. So.
And I have a chance to talk to men at some of the conferences that they hold. I tell men as well, that's where your commitment kicks in. What are you really married for? I mean, of course, sex is a great part of marriage, but it has to be more than that. I'm committed to the longevity. I'm committed to the betterment of my wife. And not just her illness, but we were going to North Carolina, and we got a call from our parents 5 minutes apart. My mom passed 2 years ago. My mom called that day and said, I'm diagnosed with liver cancer. She's crying, and she's crying with me. We're going through. Her phone rings. Her mom said, your dad just got diagnosed with Parkinson's and dementia, literally like 5 minutes apart. We both in the car on our way to a ministry event. So we dealt with sickness, personal sickness, our parents. My mom passed 2 years ago, and her dad's in hospice care now. So those things in marriage that you build up for, you in it for the long haul. The glitz and glam is cute, but that's the real rubber meets the road part of relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just blending kids. We're blending elderly parents and caretaking.
Yeah, the kids another story. We don't got time for that.
I bet.
But our kids, that's another. Because you got two different families, and her son, my kids. How do we raise children? So two different point of views, trying to merge things together. So and God brought us through that as well. It wasn't easy, but God brought us through.
I still think, So I do want to touch on it, because now that you're talking more about that, I feel like that is glue. Like, and it's a glue that we don't always think about. You care for your family, right? And you pick a partner that understands that there might come a point, right? And how do you make sure that family is priority? Yes, we're family, but having that household, that community, that taking care of family on a whole, because being separated and doing everything separate from each other is kind of what is breaking our community apart, right? So to model that for your kids, to model that, even for your parents to see, hey, you're just as involved in her parents' lives as you would be in your own. I think it's very important as a community to know, like, that's, that's okay.
And our commitment is here.
Yeah.
It's we realized after a while, like 99% of our issues didn't have anything to do with us.
Bringing them in.
It was either the kids, the church people. We cool. But we allowed those things. We had to set boundaries for our children and put our foot down on something like, it's going to be this way into the story. Because biblically, that's my responsibility. It's her responsibility is me first. Your kids come secondary. Parents come secondary. And if you can learn how to do that, it's not easy to do. We had to learn how to do it. We're still learning how to do that.
So is it safe to say y'all are a united front for everyone?
Yeah, Team Us. A hashtag of that.
motto?
When she going through a hashtag of that, Team Us. Straight up, whatever happens, as long as I got her, I'm good.
I like that.
Yeah. So
What does Black love, like when you hear that term, what does that mean to you both?
I think we equal Black love. Every time I think about Black love, I think about us. I think about all that we've endured out the first 5 years of our marriage, 6 years of our marriage. And I feel like if anybody can endure what we've endured, I mean, we lost everything. We got everything back. We had parents to pass away. We've, had one of my children was on drugs. We've had, all different kind of things. Our church to, have to rebuild our ministry. Like every week.
My son almost got killed.
His son almost, our son was almost killed. We've been through so many things, and we still managed to love one another. And we realize that love is what keeps us able to withstand all of those things. Only love can do. Love conquers all. And so in order for you to be able to conquer life and to be able to do life, you gotta have love.
And we like each other too.
Yeah, we do.
Some people I love that I don't like.
That's a good point.
Some people you love, you don't like them. You love them because that's of God. I don't like you. We actually like each other. We like being
That's
around.
important.
Like, we'll get mad. Like, you want to go to the store? I don't want to go to the mall with you. And I'm getting the keys. Like, don't make me sick. But
We make lemonade. We do make lemonade out of every lemon situation. We make some lemonades a little sweeter than others, but we gonna make something out of it.
Right.
And so I think that's what Black love is, making the best.
It is.
Making the best out of your situation.
And we know each other love language too.
Yeah, we do.
When she mess up, she be like, a couple hours later, I fix you something to eat. That's a love language.
My love language.
You hungry. My love language.
You hungry?
I make her laugh and I'll give her a gift. So each other love language makes those moments good. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good to know each other with each other, how to love one another.
Yeah.
So then that helps with repairing conflict quickly.
Yeah, we don't stay mad long. I stay mad longer than she does. She can let it go. I don't know.
Are you still mad? Like, really?
I'm a Taurus too. Maybe that's
I'm
it.
Taurus now.
I'm a Taurus. I have a hard time letting it go. I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm asking God to help me. She's like, you still mad about that album last
But you know
week?
what I find with Tauruses, though, it takes a lot to get us to that point.
It does.
Does it take a long time to get to the angry point?
Yeah, when I
it
get
takes
there,
a lot.
when I get there, I'm there.
When you're there, it's like,
I'm there for a while. But she lets it go. She's teaching me that as well. Like, let it go. We forgave each other. Stop being angry with it. Remember when we first started dating, I don't know if she'll mind me telling this, but she had an older boyfriend, one of her old boyfriends. And I ended up preaching at the church. He was on the organist.
I told I dated all industry guys, right?
He was on the organist.
So it's inevitable you're going to see somebody I dated.
Yeah, but this guy, he's grabby, he wrote songs, whatever. He's on the organist, so I'm playing that. And I'm like, I ain't gonna like this dude. Because my thing is, I'm still upset every now and then that she's even been with anybody else.
right?
So
Because she was a virgin.
I told you I was a virgin.
You know, I dated such and such. Like, who you dated? Who? That was back in college. I still, every night I get upset about.
He gets mad.
I do. I really do. Honestly, so I'm working on that. But so we find a way to laugh about it, keep those things so the conflicts don't last long. We try to make lemonade, like she said, out of it.
You know, I dated a celebrity, right? I won't say who.
Yeah.
And he still won't watch his movies, and he is he's an A-list for real. He's an A-list. He's an A-list actor.
She was at his house on his balcony talking to me.
That's a real thing.
Wait a minute, tell that story. What?
We're not gonna mention their name. They're A-list.
No name.
She was in
We just want the story.
I'll tell y'all off the camera.
She was in California, and I was rapping.
I was at the award show with
as
him.
Prince I was rapping till the sun came up.
And I was on the phone. We had met, like he said, at my godfather's church.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went away. I went to the was it the Grammys or the Academies,
Whatever.
Oscars, one of them. And so I'm there, and I'm at his house, and he's having this big party, and there's all these celebrities there, and I'm on the balcony or on his veranda, talking to the pastor. I'm like, ooh, I'm skanky, like ratchet. I told my girlfriends, I said, I cannot believe I'm on the phone with this man. I'm texting him. They like, girl, if you don't get off that phone and go in there and entertain his guests, I'm like, I don't know. I ain't even about this life, But he and that guy, he's very well known. He's been in lots of A-list movies, and for a minute he couldn't watch the movies. He was like, "Oh, Bama, dude, But look, he won.
You were chosen. She was on the balcony talking to you.
Yeah.
Talking to me, yeah, absolutely.
Don't that make you feel good?
It does, of course.
Yeah.
Helps my ego.
Oh wow! So I don't know. I like. There are a lot of new things that we learned about you, but the biggest thing that I like right now is y'all are transparent,
Very much so.
and that is something that I feel like everybody needs to know. Period. Like to see people that can be transparent, but especially people that are on the altar.
Well, you come to our church, it'll shock you how transparent I am when I preach. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Only way you can be. Here's the thing. I tell people this all the time, and quickly. When Jesus rose from the dead, right? He could have rose from the dead with no scars. He could have been perfect, right? But he rose from the dead. He still had the holes in his hand. Mm-hmm. So every Sunday, I just lift my hand up so you can see my scars, my past, my mistakes, my failures. And people are not going to believe you if you're all perfect. They need to see that you've been through some things. And so that's what I do every Sunday. Just hold my hand up, touch it. I'm real. I've been through, messed up, made mistakes, didn't get everything right, but I'm still loved by God. So yeah, we're very transparent. Yeah, very transparent.
And we really appreciate you both coming on and being transparent with us today and our audience.
Thank you.
It's important to have real people, real relationships, and people who are willing to share the good and the bad, right? So,
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
There is one thing though, because we found out that knowing this information is vital. Which one of y'all is the most petty?
Oh, him. It's Petty Eddie.
I'm Petty Murphy.
He is petty.
Petty Murphy.
What does it look like? What's the pettiest thing?
I can be petty. I can be very petty.
You don't even want to share what the pettiest thing is.
I could just conjure up when I need to be petty.
conjure. Wow.
He's like, I'm a creative and
Seriously,
petty.
I do really petty things.
It's the worst.
It is.
Your level of pettiness is like on
It's amazing,
on
isn't
10. Like
It's
Amazing.
you can teach class,
teach
like
classes, seriously.
like you like the author of petty.
Seriously.
Like
You wrote a book on it.
yeah, it's crazy.
What gets you to that point though, like where you?
Things that get when I get irritable about things. Especially, I hate being late. Lateness is my thing. And one of us struggles with lateness. I'm not going to call names.
That was petty. I see.
One of us struggles with lateness. And so the other one always tries to encourage the other one to be on time.
Gotcha.
And so sometimes they do petty things to help them out. So,
To help them.
So you wouldn't say that the person that you're talking about asking for a friend, by the way. So you wouldn't say that the person that struggled with the lateness has not gotten extremely better in that.
I would. Well, yeah, I mean,
Maybe that person needs a little credit.
close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Ooh.
But close
You see what I'm saying? Awful.
is better than nothing. You know what I'm saying?
He's
Oh,
just
you old
awful.
I didn't mention any names. Did I mention any names?
No.
For the record, we've been recorded. This is like you can play it back.
Yeah, no.
I mentioned no names.
Not play it back though.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
And how do y'all come back together after that? After like petty episodes, is that the
I have to be the bigger person,
She
period.
does. She laughs.
I mean, that person that he's talking about has to come back and just make peace. And she has to be, you know, she has to humble herself because his humility is not there. His humility doesn't exist. Somebody has to have humility. And that would be me. Or that person he's talking about.
We have I can't be petty though. she loves hard. She teaches me how to love hard as well. She loves hard, so yeah. But it's amazing. I'm just blessed. Like really said, I tell people I'm really blessed to have somebody like your soulmate. People talk about that all the time. So she's my soulmate and she's my swag mate. That's I coined that phrase, by the way.
Okay, well, don't use it.
We didn't coordinate today, though.
We usually like swag it out together.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We usually coordinate, and we do it. We don't think about it, like it just happens. But we didn't do that today.
Didn't know what happened. I went into cheetah mode.
You didn't feel like wearing your cheetah, your cheetah shirt.
Cheetahs with my tight cheetah pants. Not
Y'all
today.
are too cute. And I can definitely see the love, the affection, the bond. So this is nice to see.
And it
I
seems
hope
like
it
y'all
comes out
grow
in
together,
stories.
like y'all are supporting each other in growth.
What we do in our businesses, we support each other in our business. I'll say this, my wife, when she talked about lost everything, so the company that we started in West Africa is a very amazing company, doing great things, $1 billion company. We're growing to that point, but it didn't start off that way. A lot of potential, and I was getting frustrated. And she carried us for a couple of years when it wasn't making any money. Not a dime. We would go out to dinner. Before we get out of the car, she would put the card in my hand. Say in front of our friend, "You pay for dinner tonight." She never wanted me to look like I wasn't doing it. So I almost cry now because she, a lot of women wouldn't do that. And I said, I'm going to Africa to do this. Most women would say, "What? You stupid." She said, "Go." And the first time I was going, my partner backed away. I said, "What should I do?" She said, "Go." I got on the plane, spent 30 days in Africa alone, and she supported me. So when God gives you someone like that who supports your dreams and your visions, it's priceless. It's priceless. Yeah, she held us down for 2 years.
That's awesome.
And so I'm ever in dance. Whatever she wants, whatever you want, get. Don't be ashamed of it, because she deserves it. Like, she's priceless. It's priceless, yeah.
Thank you.
And because society says that, especially now on the internet, they're like, the woman is supposed to, not make anything. The man is supposed to bring everything, bring all the money to the table. 50-50 is for chumps or whatever they be saying. How do you feel about that? And then just sharing, like, she was supporting you during that time period.
I do believe that. Don't get me wrong. Things turn around. She don't got to worry about anything. She can go do whatever she wants to do with her money. I do believe that. But I believe when you're in a situation where you don't have it, I don't think the woman should just sit there with her arms folded like you go figure it out. Because I was going to go get a job. She said, "Did God tell you to do that?" "What did God tell you to do?" I said, "Well, honey, I need to do a job right now. I'm going to go to work at Lowe's." She said, "No, you're not. You're going to do what God says do, and it's going to work out." That's powerful. That's powerful.
So like a true partner that can step up if need be.
Absolutely.
And also is supportive in that.
Yeah, never mention that. Like, I would feel bad. Like, "Nah, baby, I don't need these. I'm going to get you some Jordans. I don't really want them. I'll wait till I get some money." She never made me feel bad about it. She never threw it in my face. Like, remember them years? I was never that, man. That's when you got a real partner. You got somebody that's really your soulmate. It's us. It ain't I did this for you. It's team us. Yeah, so that makes it so good. That's what we have. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I love it. I think that, I hope that everybody really got a lot of takeaways from this particular couple and this family. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us and nurturing the nosy and all that stuff and delving in. We appreciate it.
Thank you for
Thank you
having us.
Thank you so
Everything.
much. Thank you so much.
This was fun.
It was fun.
Good, I'm glad.
It's offering time.
I love it.
Let's go.
Right.
All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to get a picture of all of you guys.
Sure.
Come grab the glasses from you. We'll get a picture of just the couple. And then we're going to do a quick drop. You guys just wrap up the Relationship Boosters podcast. And we use that for promo.
Sure.
Let them know that the episode is coming.
Let them do their job first before we do the picture.
Okay, no problem.
So then I can come to you.
Okay, no problem. Let me put the mic back. Okay. So ladies, I'm going to have you guys step up really quickly.
Thank you.
Cut camera.
You want us to stay seated?
Please.
Okay.